Well, hello, accounting students. Here we are in week 2 of the class, module 2. Couple of changes that are happening. The first one is where you're landing when you enter the course. If you remember last week, when you come into the course, the very first page, we call it the landing page, is sort of that course introduction page. But what I like to do is after the first week, when everybody's kind of filtered into the course, is to change that to this news and announcement area. So what you're going to see in here are videos, usually weekly, that will talk about, what we did last week, or if there's anything there that we needed to discuss, what we're doing this week, and also if there's any changes to the course. Almost every time that I teach a course, I adapt it to kind of the unique situation that's, going on within that particular class. So there's usually some changes. So definitely watch any new videos that are in here before you jump into the module and start doing your work. So we may have, again, extended some due dates, or I may have clarified something that maybe wasn't too clear. So before you move on, just take a moment to see if there's any new updates that are in this news and announcement section. All right, so that's kind of what I'm going to cover with the new things, the new structure, new landing pages, and kind of these weekly announcements that we're going to have. Let's talk a little bit about what we're doing this week. And I've received a few questions, as I do every time I teach this class. So I wanted to kind of address those as well. But let's talk about this week. This week's a little bit tougher. We are doing kind of 2 sections. There's a part 1, part 2. So a little bit more reading than last week. But you do have only 1 learning activity and 1 module quiz. So I try to balance that off, the additional reading with the assignments, but it is a little bit more than you had last week. And we're going to have a couple of these heavier modules as we go through. It's the only way that we can get through the material. So this is one of them. So I know it will be a little bit challenging this week. Again, one of the questions I usually get, and I've gotten a couple of emails on that, is about the quizzes. So you'll find in this class that the quizzes are challenging. I don't want to say tricky, but you have most correct answers. You have double qualifier questions. They're going to be a little bit more on the challenging side, but don't despair. If you haven't noticed it yet, you read the instructions. You are given 3 attempts to do that quiz. So you definitely can get 100% on that. Look through there, see which ones you missed. You can look up the answers. They're open book, open note. Take it again. And you can even take it a 3rd time if you need to. So hopefully all of you will get that, 100% or 98% on each one of the quizzes. So I encourage you to go ahead and use the multiple attempts. They're there for you to do that. By you just looking up the answers and seeing what you missed, you're learning. So it's, I think it's a great way to do that. Also this week, we have a learning activity where you're going to be writing a paper. And we're going to have a few of these as we go through the course. Some stuff will be more accounting and math, and then we'll give you a break. And some of the things that we'll do will be some papers. If you want the full points for this assignment, just read what's here and do what's here. So where I've seen students get points off is really lack of meaningful content. They'll give me 1 page. Well, here it says the main body needs to be 2 full pages. So the stuff that you write, not the title page and not the reference page, but all the stuff in between has to be 2 full pages. So make sure you're hitting that content point right in that area. These topics are so deep that it should not be very difficult at all to get 2 pages out of there. So make sure you do that and you'll get your full points. Remember, it's APA, so it is double spaced. I do provide the Mercy College template for APA papers. If you want to use that, I recommend using that. I got a link there below. Use that as a framework to kind of build your paper rather than starting from scratch. every time. And we're going to follow this 2-page format all the way through when we have these concept topic papers that we'll be doing. And so the other thing is, making sure you have the content. And so here's a secret. Here's how I grade. It's all right here. So I look for the 2 full pages. I look to make sure that you've met the reference requirement. So in this case, it's two references. Can one of the references be your textbook? Yes, absolutely. It can be your textbook. So there's one reference. Go find another reference out there. It could be another textbook. There's a lot of open source textbooks out there that you can use. And there you go. So you could have 2 references kind of at the ready. So I look for, is there enough content? Do they have 2 references on the reference page? Is APA relatively correct? I'm not gonna be an APA, strict grader. Just no egregious, I guess, things that are going to draw my eye to it. So just make sure, again, the template's going to help you with that. Use the template. That will pretty much guarantee you're going to get full or an almost full APA points by just using that the APA 7 Mercy College template. So use that. Then the next thing I scan for is, did they hit the topics or things that I asked for? So I'm literally looking for, did they explain the concept of insurance, define adverse selection, moral hazard, et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking for that. If I see that's not there, then points deducted. So again, these topics are really deep. It shouldn't be hard for you to get that content relatively easily. And of course, make sure these are in your own words. We do have Turnitin.com, a plagiarism checker that can be employed in the behind the scenes. So you never know when I might use it. So just in case, make sure everything is in your own words, that you've paraphrased, and obviously you're using work and definitions, concept of insurance. You're going to look that up. You're going to look at certain selections within the textbook or other textbooks or out on the internet. And but just make sure that you're rephrasing that in your own words, so Turnitin.com wouldn't trigger that as a similarity. So there you go. A little bit of secrets of how I grade on that, and you should be able to get the full, absolutely the full points for that assignment if you just kind of follow those basics. I'm not here to pick apart every little thing. I mean, if the grammar is good, you're going to get full points, but I'm not going to be a total grammarian as well on these things, as long as it's readable and makes sense. So there you go. All right, so that's it for what we're doing for this week. Again, if you have any questions as we're going through, I've had one student already text me and one student email. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. I will put that information below this video, so my email and cell number. If you have a question, texting is really a good way. If you have a quick question that you want to ask, if you have a long form question, I would recommend using email. All right, guys, everybody have a great week. And again, if anything comes up, let me know. Thanks.